Hey lovely people, I hope you're feeling good this morning. I'm feeling good. I've had 3 coffees and it's 10:15, so we're going in pretty hard today. So today we're going to be doing a painting or a drawing of either a book, a magazine, a DVD, or your phone if you don't have any of those kicking about. It's going to be quite example heavy. I'm going to show you different artists and how they've been drawing or painting different books. So I'll talk you through those. I'll then kind of talk you through what sort of book you maybe want to pick, and then I'll give you some tips for drawing a book, how to draw the pages, looking at different details, that sort of thing. So it's going to be less of a step by step, but I'll be giving you some guidance so you can all create your own unique artworks at home. So if at home you've only got pen and pencil, don't worry about this exercise. A lot of the things I'm going to show you, you can do in black and white as well. And these are, if you really want to focus on getting in detail and really working on your drawing skills, actually focusing on just line with pen and pencil is best. Here's some examples of pen and pencil sketches people have done of books. They're quite still lifey, but I would suggest that maybe you focus a bit more on the graphic design of your book and focus on getting the cover in and really looking at that sort of stuff. So something like this would be really good in black and white, just painting the cover, just drawing the cover, okay? So we're going to start by looking at an artist called Richard Baker. So looking at Baker's work, he's doing kind of a front-on view of the book. He's using paint. He's taking into account all the little details like price tags, yellowing of edges, any little rips. He's got them quite front on his page. Sometimes he's got little bits of the pages, but generally it's just the cover. So they're quite nice if you've got a book that you really like the cover of. It's got really nice design, or it's got some interesting wear and tear. For instance, I've got this copy of Catch-22 here, which might be quite a good one for that because it's definitely had a life. It's not in super good quality anymore, but it's got lots of interesting marks on the front and quite a classic design. So that's, if you've got a book that's seen it all, like this one, that sort of style of painting or drawing could be a good one to think about. The next guy is an artist called Harland Miller. So when we're looking at Miller's work, he's mostly doing Penguin Classic covers. You might have a Penguin Classic cover kicking about your house. They're very popular. It's that block colour, white band for the text, little penguin and the bit at the top. And they can be really nice to draw, especially if it's a very classic title. And they can be quite nice maybe if you do a few on a page, because you've got that nice repetition of design. He's also doing mostly, the book is the full page, so you're just doing the cover like it's the full page of a book. So that's a really nice way to do it, and it kind of gets rid of any hassle with angles or too much detail, looking at the shape of the book, all that sort of stuff. So that can be really nice if you just want to focus on the graphic design of the cover. His painting isn't too neat, it's a bit loose, it's a bit kind of drippy, there's some marks in there that you know aren't on the book, and that can be really nice if you're working with watercolours or crayon or something, and you don't need to get it too perfect and pristine. And that can be really nice, especially to give yourself a break from trying to do something that's too perfect and getting a bit about angles and straight lines and all that sort of stuff. So that is a really good way to work if that sort of thing really, that bothers you. A lot of his penguin titles are imaginary as well, so you can copy the design and make up your own title with the book. Maybe it can just be your name or something. That's another thing to do. The next artist is Neil Shawcross. Those are really good if you've got quite a simple cover design and you just want to do something quick, something quite loose, and something quite bold. So if you're not feeling like going in and drawing every single little detail of your slightly damaged book, something like this where you're just focusing on the cover can be really good. An example, something like this might be quite good if you're just going to do splashes of colour and vague details, because you've got this nice bold section here and quite a loose drawing here that you don't need to put lots of detail into. So that's a really good option if you're wanting something quite low pressure and expressive to get some energy out. Then here's some ideas if, say, you don't have any books you like around. Here's an idea if you want to do cover of a magazine, cover of a DVD, or a CD. And then there's an artist here who's used the spines of CDs as well. So if you've got maybe a lot of spines of books or CDs or DVDs, there's a way you can draw them as well. So we just had a lot of options, and don't worry if you're feeling a bit like, oh my lord, she's giving me so many things to do. Have a wee break, have a wee think, rewind and watch that section again, and just look at the pictures and see which one appeals to you the most. And have a wee think. There's no pressure to do all of them or even any of them, just go with what works for you today. Okay, so after seeing those, have a wee think, look at what books you've got. I'm going to be working from a variety of books today, and I'm going to show you some different tricks. So if you want to watch this bit all the way through before you begin, and then you can think about which ones will work for your particular book. Okay, so I'm going to start off showing you a version where we just draw the cover. We're not doing any of this bit or this bit. No funny angles or anything, we're just focusing on what is on the front. So I've divided my page in 4 so I can do 4 options of the one and save some paper because I'm beginning to run out. And we're going to start up here. So imagine that this square here is your whole paper. So you're just going to use your whole page for this, a bit like you're making a poster of your favourite picture. So I'm just looking at my book, doing some balancing. The main features are this picture and the text. So how I would start going about this is I would just draw in a rough circle. Once again, I'm going to be drawing really heavy, but you don't have to. I'm just doing it so it shows up. So I'm going to draw roughly in where my picture is. So I'm going to start with the stem. That's coming up to about there. I know I've got some flowers around about here, some leaves. So I'm just drawing in the rough shapes. It's not any detail at any point. And then I know my title. You can use a ruler for this if you want, or a flat edge. You know my title is about here. It's going to be about that big. And I've got some words up here above. So that's all my guidelines, just so I'm getting my spacing correct. And then I'd probably start with the words because they're going to be the trickiest bit. And you may have seen me saying this in other videos, but I like to start with the middle of the word. So I'm going to start with my E. I'm going to draw another guiding line in there for my little letters. And I've got an E. That isn't my middle letter. What an umpty. My middle letter is an R, B, E, S, H. So I've worked my way from the middle out of the way, and that's how I like to get my letters in. And then I do that again with my top letters, and then I start drawing these in a bit more detail. That's how I'd go about doing that, just looking at what is on my book cover and drawing it like it's a picture. So this is my finished piece here. I've stuck with just pencil because I thought it looked quite nice, and I wanted to focus on some of the detail, but you can definitely go into colour with your piece if you'd like. I'm just going to talk you through a few of the things I've done here. So first of all, looking at our text, you saw me sketch the text in before, but I'm just going to draw attention to some of the things in the font, which is the style of the text, that you might want to have a real look at. So in mine I've got little feet on them, and some of the bits are thick and some of the bits are thin. So it's just looking really closely at the style of text that you've got and putting in any of the little fiddly bits. That's going to make a real difference to your drawing. And then I've just done a big picture of my herbs. There we go. And I've just kept them in black and white. So you just want to be... Ooh, that's me knocked over my bowl of pencil shavings. Oh well. Yeah, so you just want to put that in with as much detail as you like. So that's what you're doing for your straight on drawing the cover like it's a picture. So the next one I'm going to do is a side-on view of the book, so you're going to be getting the top and the side. I've recommend if you can take a picture of the book at the angle you're going to do it, that can be really helpful, because in reality when you're drawing, doing lots of moving, and then all your angles change. So if you've got a picture, it can show you you've got a bit of a memory from how you were looking at it originally. So this is the picture and angle I'm going to be working from. Alright, so our first step is trying to get our angles right. I'm doing that thing when I'm checking my angles with my pencil, because your angle doesn't change from right in front of you to on your paper. So I'm lining up my pencil with the edge of my book, and then I'm taking that over and I'm popping it here, and then I'm drawing a line, and then I'm taking that same angle and drawing another line further up, just over where I think the edge of my book is going to be. So mine's about this big, and then from there I look at the angle of the other edge of the book, like that. It's going to be about there. Check it. Good enough for me. And then I'm taking my other line, taking it up by there. Checking it again. You can be using a ruler for all this. I'm just running out of space. You go, and then I'm going to rub out my extra lines because I don't need them anymore. Next bit is putting in the spine of our book. So we're going to be having lines coming down straight from this corner and this corner. And again, they're going to be at the same angle. So we're putting them not quite at 90 degrees, but a bit like that. A bit like making a table. And then we're going to take this line down again. So we've got another line that is parallel to our book. Boop. And then on mine, I can't really see anything else because my spine is so wonky. But maybe you'd be able to see one on your book, a bit like that. So we're kind of drawing a rectangle where this is our spine. These would be our pages. Okay, give that a go. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this whole drawing because I've realised it's 4 o'clock. I don't know how that happened. But the main thing is you just want to keep checking your angles. So your text is going to be at the same angle as the edge of your picture. The edge of your picture at the edge of your book. So if I was going to be putting my catch in, I'd be putting it at the same angle as here. So I can draw in some lines for that. Catch. And then my big 22 would be there. So that's what will make everything look the right way. And then you want to be paying attention to lots of the little details. So I'd have lots of, and remember I'm drawing this much heavier than you, so you can see it. You'd have lots of little creases because I've got a very creased copy. I might be changing some of the shapes here. Lots of creases coming in here. I've got a bit of my spine coming off. Some pages coming out here. For your pages, you probably should want to put some light lines along there. And once again, your title is going to be parallel to here. So it's going to be within this shape there, like you're writing in a handwriting jotter, if you remember those. So that's my main tips if you're doing one like this. Oh, last but not least, the shadow of your book as well. So you'll probably have a shadow under here, like that. So the important thing is just to keep your shadows quite square. So you'll have one under there, and I've got one coming out a bit like this. So you're just looking at your shapes that you're seeing there and roughly marking them in. So the main things are checking your angles, looking for details and drawing them in, and then adding in shadows. Finally, we're going to go for the make up your own book cover 1. Lovely. So if you're going for one of the ones with just the geometric shapes, all you need to do is draw a square in the middle and write in your title and your author. But if you want to go for making your own penguin books one, what you'll need is a ruler, which I don't have, so I'm going to guesstimate it. And what you're doing is you're drawing about a third of the way down. We're kind of, the middle chunk's a bit bigger than the third. We're going to do a big line and a big line, like that. In there, that's where our title is going to be. At the top, we've got a kind of a wibbly shape. We've got one a bit like this. Try and get it in the middle. It doesn't need to be in the middle. Bit like that. That's got penguin books written in it, but I'll show you that in the picture. And then lastly at the bottom, we've got our little classic penguin, which is about in this middle bit of the bottom section. And he goes like this. Got a little pointy head with his beak going up the way. Then he's got a bit of a kind of a squarish body coming down. Skittle with a head. He's got some little feet. He's kind of one up in the air, doing a little dance. This other one's on the ground. He's got his flippers coming out. One's on one side, one's on the other side. Then we need to give him the details for his face. So he's got a little kind of choker on. This bit of his face is there. A little eye. Colour that in. It's my little penguin. Okay, so after you've done that, you can colour these sections in. You can do them a block colour, you can do them some nice patterns if you want. I'm probably going to go for a classic block colour, maybe yellow, so I really like that colour. And then you can decide on whatever the title of your book is going to be. So for my book, I'm going to call mine Stay at Home Art Club, and I'm going to put in my guiding lines for my text. Again, if you've got a ruler, use a ruler. I don't have a ruler. I should really get one, shouldn't I? So I'm going to have 2 lines of text, and I'm just going to sketch it in roughly. So I'm going to do stay at home. Oh, quite close to the edge there. Art club. Oh! Can't spell club. Oh, my spelling is atrocious. Club. And then I'm going to have by Eleanor. So I'm just roughly sketching it in, and then at the next step I'll refine it up, which I'll show you it refined now. Here's my lovely finished one, all refined up. I've gone for a nice block yellow, and I've given myself a little sun poking out the bottom and poking out the top. Yeah, so I've gone for my own sort of text, thickened up some bits, thinned down some bits. So you can really go for anything. You could go for some real bubble letters in the middle there. But here's a little step by step of how I did all that colouring. Okay everyone, so good luck with that. I know I give you lots of options. See how you get on. We'll finish today with a joke. A man goes into the library and says, "Can I have a burger and chips?" And the librarian says, "Sir, this is a library." And he goes, "Oh, sorry. Can I have a burger and chips?" I know, I'm running out of ideas. Okay, everyone have a really nice day. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.